Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Betway WCA 2016 European bracket. We're here with Game 2 of Alliance versus Vega. Let's hop right into it as these teams are not wasting any time in this draft. Game 1 going the way of Vega Squadron after kind of an odd, drawn-out game where they were able to just morphling rat it to victory in the end. I'm Zayori, joined again by Purge. We're from Moonduck TV. Thank you for joining us here. Purge, how you feeling coming into Game 2?
Feeling pretty good. Hopefully Alliances too. They had a rough game one. It was very hard to defend against the split push, take a fight, and try to take their own racks. But this game, they've got a Chronosphere. It's good team fight ability. It should allow them to get some kills and make some map movement.
Yeah, different change of pace for sure. We talked about the Faceless Void a little bit. He was picked a lot yesterday, and he's pretty much moved into that first pick, first ban type slot, but still not the easiest hero to execute with. You know, Chronosphere can be one of those tricky spells that, yeah, you can often make big plays, but you can also get your teammates stuck in sticky situations. So, curious how Alliance want to run it. If it's more of like safe lane Void, or if this is a Bulldog Void just headed right to the off lane.
I think either works just fine. I mean, I think it was less than a day ago that Loda tweeted showing he's the #1 Void player on Dota Buff, so...
I didn't really miss that tweet.
Happy to shout that one out. I was just looking at it a moment ago.
Oh.
So I thought it was very, very great that they picked Faces Void to open.
Oh, that's good.
Kunkka Keeper for Vega, so lots of good things that they can do with this. Obviously, Blind is amazing against Void. X marks setup, some good farm potential from a 4 position. Strong hero right now. Kunkka was really popularized a lot of TI.
Yeah, and we've been seeing more and more of the Tidebringer build. You know, for a while it was all about the X to get that extra range, and now like the 1-3-1 at level 5 is what we saw a lot of yesterday. And it's pretty good. It's like that position 4 Kunkka that can start to transition into more of a core once he gets an armlet, you know, phase drum, those kind of items. He actually hits pretty damn hard, and you can still get a lot of utility out of X marks the spot just from phase boots drums running up next to people, getting an auto attack, and then you know, plopping the X down.
It also pulls Faceless Void back as well if he time walks away, so it's kind of acting like Glimpse from a Disruptor, but with more Disable and more Nuke. And definitely more farm potential as well. Like you said, Tidebringer just accelerates your farm so much. So I really do like that build transition that LANM demonstrated, in some ways popularized, because it really does work very well. Very good with Keeper as well, actually. If you do X marks a spot, you can start trying to Illuminate to full, and then you do Torrent with the Illuminate coming through. It's actually an interesting way to make Keeper so much better in terms of nuking in early games.
All right, I like it. Now the Earth Spirit for Alliance. I would say Coddle. Mana Leak's really good against Earth Spirit. That was sort of the first thing that jumps out at me.
Unless Earth Spirit's trying to fight, then
that's
Earth
true.
Spirit's better, arguably.
Yeah.
Good against Kunkka as well. If you can silence the Kunkka before he's able to finish his X-Boat combo, then it kind of just breaks what he wants to do. So
I guess it kind of goes both ways. It's like if Earth Spirit jumps on them, they're in good shape, and if they jump on Earth Spirit, he might not be in great shape. It's a battle of initiation.
Yeah, that's really true. But right now, Alliance clearly has a better team fight with both Chrono and Earth Spirit. It's kind of interesting to see Earth Spirit phase out of the meta, but just better supports right now, apparently.
Yeah, he reminds me of Tusk a little bit, when Tusk was like really in vogue, where once he started to fall off, it was like, yeah, Tusk is great if you can find the kills, but it puts a lot of pressure on the Earth Spirit to get a lot done. You know, you pick this hero because you want to put pressure on mid, you want to find rotations, fight early, and if he falls behind, if he doesn't get that level 6 in a timely manner, again, he can be a support that just feels a little bit lackluster, especially after the rolling boulder nerf and all the other things that really just makes him a lot harder to execute with than he used to be.
I still really like him as a hero, though. I mean, Magnetize is always going to be very useful. Damage over time to stop Blink Daggers, to stop auto charges, and things like that. Those mid-game team fights can be amazing.
I think he can also be good as a Veil carrier, because like we see Mirana skip Veil, and that's something she still benefits from a lot.
Yeah, he can definitely do that. It's a good solution. I just like him a lot in a lot of cases, just because of the mid-game team fight that you get out of the hero compared to a lot of other supports. And maybe it'll be Mirana or Spirit double roaming support's a possibility, but I don't know if I've seen S4 play Mirana core yet, but could be support Mirana.
It could be. I'm trying to think if I've actually seen S4 play Mirana. I'm sure he's done it. I'm sure it's within his skill set.
I think they probably just continue this team fight picking, though. Like, they could go for some kind of, maybe even Batrider would be decent. They've already got really good nuke power in team fight right now. If they did something like S4 Bat, could be quite good. I don't know if you want to do Bat against Coddle, though, because if he mana leaks you during the lasso, it can really mess yourself up.
Yeah.
X is very good against bad as well for that reason. Just any evasive hero basically that initiates and gets out is going to be something that Kunko punishes very well.
Vega's first two picks are pretty good at potentially dealing with the Chronosphere. We saw yesterday even how well Kunkka can work to counteract the effect of the Chrono. If he can land a stun, that's great, but also just getting that Coco's Rum to keep people alive for the duration of the disable. Even stuff like Blinding Light from Keeper of the Light can make Void's life a lot more difficult when he thinks he has a sure kill. All of a sudden that blind comes out and he doesn't do any damage. Now Slardar for Vega will be their third. They thought about it for a while. They are out of reserve time also.
Yeah, they needed more lockdown against Void, that's for sure. Earth Spirit, it's a decent solution, and Mirana ulti as well. Just having amp damage can get you an extra kill or two per game, where you might not have Dust or Sentries otherwise, so Slaughter pick makes a lot of sense. Amp damage with Kunkka can be kind of nice too. Their team fight's alright right now, it's not amazing. I would say Alliances is still better.
Yeah.
And they're kind of melee heavy right now against Chronosphere, which is pretty scary, but I just feel like they kind of felt like they're in a corner right now. They opened the Coddle Kunkka, but with the Earth Spirit pick after the next round, I mean, Vega is very rapidly going to realize what they're missing. And it's definitely a team fight. If Alliance just keeps picking team fight heroes, they should be able to just overpower Vega in any of those engagements. And they don't really have split pushing either because they open with Coddle Kunkka.
Yeah, a little flexibility with the Slardar, though I think more likely to be the Mag hero. So looking at probably a mid and a safe laner for their final two. They still have some options to grab some team fighting heroes, though. A lot of it will hinge on what Alliance wants to pick up here. Could be telling of what they want to do with the Mirana, though they do tend to save the S4 hero for last. That's just one of the classic Alliance drafting patterns, I guess you could say. Not really strategy, but just something they like to do. So I think this is where you grab the other core, probably your Bulldog hero, if it is indeed that Loda Void.
Wonder what they pick. Okay, I like that. It's going to have a little bit of trouble versus Slardar, and Mana Leak can be quite good, as is X. Anything that's survivable basically will be punished by Kunkka, but I think Weaver's a decent pick. It'll give them some good single target damage. I assume this will be Loda Void, Weaver offlane, could do a dual lane. Could be like Earth Spirit Weaver, for example, to try to punish Coddle. But I like the Weaver pick. It's pretty solid. And it's good laning against Slardar pre-6 as well.
Yeah.
Wind Ranger at your
Wind
service.
Ranger.
Alright, that one's really weird, but it is... Alliance is pretty right-click heavy, so I guess like Wind Run can be useful. Probably mid Wind Ranger. I mean, Wings did play Wind Ranger in the offlane at TI, but it was with a Drow, so
Yeah.
this won't be as useful, but it does give them more lockdown, which they really need.
Very likely to be mid, but yeah, I would say it's peculiar also. Is it just a classic hero for Iceberg, perhaps? That's not a player I'm super familiar with in terms of his like top 3 heroes.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that.
That's one of the only things I can think of. If it's just a comfort pick, maybe something he's comfortable with.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the stuns that they have basically. Like right now, if they do X marks the spot into Torrent, into Slar Crush, into Shackle Shot, that should be anybody dying if it's a gank like 3v1 kind of a thing. So I think that's what they're aiming for here. That it's very difficult for them to kill Mirana, Weaver, Void. So more stuns is really what they need to have a solution to that.
Yeah.
They're still gonna have some team fight problems though. I don't know if Wind Rangers provides all of the solutions, but it definitely helps.
I think Vega are assuming that this is a core Mirana mid. Maybe they like that Wind Ranger matchup against Mirana. Could also be something else, but they're low on time. They need to make this final choice soon. And it's the Anti-Mage. Okay.
Okay, so lanes aren't weird at all. Offlane Slardar, mid Wind Ranger, support Kunkka and Keeper, and then carry Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage quite good against Weaver in lane because he's very reliant on his mana to stay alive early game. Mid to late game, killing Anti-Mage is pretty tough still. Like they've got disables from Earth Spirit, Mirana, and Void, but they're not the best solutions to AM, so it's a pretty good AM game. But Alliance still has the last pick here. Secondary support or their core if needed.
I mean, Alliance have a lot of ways to try to deal with the AM. Like, Chronosphere is just amazing. You have a position 1 Void versus a position 1 Anti-Mage. That's obviously great lockdown. But as we talked about before, Vega have a lot of ways to keep the AM alive with Shackle Shot, if that latches, if a Wind Ranger's outside of it, Slardar maybe on the side of it. Pretty much every other hero has some sort of Disable or X or Boat or Blinding Light to try and keep the Anti-Mage safe if he gets caught out. Disruptor now the final choice for Alliance, realizing they need some more lockdown, some more silence. A great hero to try to deal with the mobile AM, and that means it will indeed be the S4 Mirana.
And it's not just good against AM too, it's good against Slardar, it's good against Wind Ranger. Anyone that's survivable Disruptor will be really useful.
Yeah.
So, especially once they hit 6, just even the silence against Wind Ranger can be massive.
And it
Just
fits
making
in
sure the hero's useless.
with what you were saying about just picking massive team fight and overpowering Vega. Disruptor, one of the best team fighting supports you can pick up in that sense.
So pretty solid draft from Alliance. They're diversified on their damage. They're diversified on their ways to do damage. It's not just right clicks, for example. With both Coddle and Wind Ranger, Alliance is gonna have a lot of trouble connecting with hits, but they've got nukes from Mirana, they've got nukes from Earth Spirit Disruptor. I think they're in a pretty good spot here. They just need to make sure their lanes go well. There's a lot of decent laning coming from Vega, so it might be a little bit problematic.
Now remember, Purge, we did say the exact same thing last game about Alliance's draft. Or no, the other way. We thought Vega's draft was going to be the ease of execution, and it was Alliance that would struggle, and then they dominated the lane. So maybe it'll go back the other way. I think it's hard to predict what's going to happen on paper with these two teams.
Mid ward down for EGM here. That should spot out the enemy heroes. FNG did spot out Earth Spirit though. It looks like he did tricky warding here. He walked to the Ancients, which may make them think that they had a ward in the high ground. I don't know if you fully baited them or not, but we'll see if they put a sentry there.
Well, it's an interesting choice. I hear another ward come down. No, there it is. Bottom rune vision.
Alright, EGM will be able to deny that one if they have a sentry. Yeah, they do. They're going to approach him.
They actually go right in onto FNG. Loda nearby. He's the one that takes the Weaver. It's a Bulldog. Faceless Void arrow almost hits him. S4 just falls a little bit short.
Look at the ward now.
Yeah, still a victory for Alliance. And, of course, they will secure that top rune. Down bottom, Bulldog forced a time walk earlier than planned after he gets hit by a torrent. And bottom bounty will go to Vega.
So slight advantage going to S4 there. Better ward coverage to protect him. They did waste a sentry on the high ground, so EGM did trick them there. Really nice early, pre-game there.
Yeah,
Alliance getting some advantage at least.
And Mirana was actually able to kill the ward, so she got a little bit of extra gold there also, I think. Oh.
Yeah, she did. The sentry. Oh, they're going to lose their ward too, though.
Yep.
That's
the
unfortunate.
Counter to the counter. Here we go.
Yeah, he did eat his tango. I maybe would have liked him to hold on to that for a moment, but because the tango's already being wasted, but
yeah,
he will trade now.
Okay, cool. So back and forth start. I guess still that advantage Alliance had kind of mitigated at this point. Down bottom, Bulldog may find himself in a world of hurt. FNG already wrapping around. He does go Mana Leak level 1. Very difficult for Bulldog to deal with. Gonna have to lose a lot of his mana pool and deal with some of these right clicks.
Yeah, that's not gonna be the last time he gets his mana drained.
Mag, is this a first blood actually? He's getting very low. He has to eat the Fairy Fire. Loda doesn't want to dive. It's still only level 1, but around the backside, Rolling Boulder, EGM, can't quite find it. And the Slardar will live, but Mag, yeah, not a fun lane for him. And he does not have an Iron Talon. He committed to the Stout Shield heavy regen build, so he can't just retreat to the jungle and start farming that way. He's going to be forced to sit at this tower and try and leech in lane.
It's kind of beneficial sometimes too, though, because if they know that Earth Spirit's here and not roaming mid, then Wind Ranger can do a much better job getting last hits, so
okay,
it could be fine.
We'll see how it works out. Still not going to expect much farm to come on the Slardar. Mid lane seems fairly even. Iceberg does take that Wind Ranger, the pick that we were both a little bit curious about. Arrow does just nail the range creep. It seems like a very even mid matchup here. Both players within 1 or 2 CS of each other.
I mean, they both have bows and arrows. It's one of the few rare matchups that's actually fair.
That's a fair point. Mag, now this could actually be the first blood. One final auto attack from Loda gets it. And the Slardar will concede the first death of the game.
It's just so hard for him to lane against this with Thunderstrike, Glimpse potential, the movement speed that Weaver has, and even Earth Spirit initiating. Like, it's a very tough lane for him. I'm sure he regrets not having Iron Talon, but there was again a buff to offlaners. If neutrals do get denied, then you get 35% of the experience now instead of 20, which was the past. Started at 0, right, and then within 2 months it's already up to 35%.
Yeah.
Nice buff change though, like really did need to happen. EGM gonna get killed though.
Oh wow, what a misplay. He gets body blocked a little bit, just underestimates that tower damage, and Iceberg, he turns it around 1-1. That's huge for the Wind Ranger.
Yeah, he was trying to harass in the mid lane, but he must have rolling bouldered a little bit too far past or chased too far and ends up dying for it.
Just took too
very
many tower
costly.
shots. And Earth Spirit, not the tankiest hero early on, only 3 armor, so he cannot survive under the tower for very long. FN having a great time on this anti-mage, though. Getting slightly better farm than the Weaver, partially because Dota has spent some time trying to harass the Slardar. They did get a kill, so it's been well worth it, but FN, he is just in free farm heaven right now. Bulldog's not been able to do anything in lane. Forced to retreat into his neutral camp. It's slow going, but he has picked up the Quelling Blade. Iron Talon on the way, and he is going to start this slow road to recovery. Having a slightly better time than the Slardar, at least.
Yeah, and he does need to keep his levels up. I mean, Void is very important. Can transition to a carry much easier than a Slaughter can, so.
Oh, again, rolling forward onto Mag. The kinetic field does come out just a little bit late, but still huge damage. They harass him back, and he's chewing through these tangos so fast. He's only got 3 left.
There's actually a TP on Kunkka there, too, which is really detrimental. He didn't need to rotate top, so. Deep East top for nothing, and that's going to make his next minute less efficient.
And 50
less
gold
levels for him.
Yeah. And he also doesn't have boots, so even slower. Whoa!
Oh my god. He was just last hitting a power shot him from the river. That was it. He was just slow.
Oh, wow.
He got hit from the front, too, so he just took the full damage. S4 did not expect that. That's a kill that just simply shouldn't ever happen. Big mistake from S4.
Huge for Iceberg, though. Back-to-back kills, now 25 CS. He's going to start to pull ahead on that front, and if we dare look at the net worth, he's at 2,700 compared to the 1,600 of S4's Marana. And as we've talked about, Wind Ranger, a scary mid laner with this kind of a start because her transition into carry comes pretty quick. Once she has an Aghanim Scepter and another item after that, her right click is scary. Now up top, Mag, stun, kinetic field, comes out just a little late. Torrent, not going to be on the money, and both sides will disengage. Okay.
They're really lacking mana on the Disruptor. He's been casting so many spells that he just has nothing. He doesn't even have Glimpse yet.
Torrent does connect on Loda this time. Follow-up damage. FN charging up the Illuminate. They get the kill on Weaver. EGM might not be able to make it out. A few more right clicks and he's going down. Can they close the gap? He's looking for the deny, but the neutral almost does it, actually. It comes out just half a second too late. A double kill for FNG on the Keeper of the Light. They want Pablo as well. Perhaps X marks the spot. They will not commit to the follow-up. Still another set of kills as Vega take an early lead, already up to 1K net worth in their favor.
Yeah, the Keeper of the Light combo with X is just so good. It's really, really cool rotation there.
There's really no way to deal with it. You can't prevent yourself from getting hit by the Illuminate in that kind of scenario.
Yeah, unless you have like a Disruptor or a Disruption from Shadow Demon, there's not a lot of good solutions. Or even like a Nightmare from Bane. Something like that could work. They're kind of all in on this X combo, but the fact that they're getting all this value out of their lanes is pretty much changing the whole game here. And Vegas favor.
He's in some trouble. X into Torrent. Iceberg cues up the power shot. EGM does rotate. Arrow connects onto FNG. The Disruptor's also rotated in. Looks like Alliance just want to keep S4 alive, not really look for kills themselves. Power shot does not connect on EGM, but Pablo still taking a lot of damage. Even though Alliance don't concede a death, they did not get the better of that right-click trade with 3 heroes now out of mana and pretty low on HP. Now S4 sips up the bottle, but still.
They're just kind of dying here. He's going to lose the rune too. You could die here. Oh my god.
That Coddle snipes the rune, and they still kill him. And on top of that, it's the Wind Ranger that gets credit for the kill.
Again, 2 kills now.
3 kills.
Yeah, but 2 kills on bottom. But you're more right than I am here. I'm not trying to say that I said that right.
But yeah,
I just have a logical out, that's all.
It's this is scary. I mean, Iceberg is going to go from position 2 to this scary carry. I mean, do you just rush Ags in this scenario? Maybe do you go Blink Dagger first if you're this far ahead?
It's hard to say. I think you get Blink pretty early this game. You can also go Shadow Blade on Wind Ranger just because that gives you really good gank options. But
that's cool.
I don't know if S4 just doesn't feel comfortable on bottom or what, but he's just getting outlaned heavily.
Yeah.
And the supports from Vega have been getting way more done. Disruptor's always been very, very limited by his mana this game, whereas on the other side, you know, Kunkka's been all over the place, consistently having mana for X marks the spot because it's only 50 mana. Like that plus mana leak has actually been enough disable for the laning stage.
Yeah. And Iceberg again getting S4 pretty low. EGM misses the kick forward, and Iceberg will just be able to walk away. S4 really not farming much at this point. You look at the raw CS, 37. Oh, he's actually up at 32 CS, more than I would have thought. Now in the top lane, Mag pulled back by the Glimpse, but they just don't have the damage. Loda diving it. Shikuchi forward. Is it enough? It sure is. That minus armor does add up, and he time lapses back to safety. Nice play from Loda, knowing his limitations there, and secures an easy kill.
Yeah, good thing for him the Geminate. There's the chance he didn't, but needed to wait until the armor was absolutely maxed out, and it was there.
Oh.
So
there's going to be a
good kill.
coming on Iceberg, but I want to reference this AM purge. We haven't talked about him at much. FN has 67 last hits. The highest on Alliance is Loda at 38. That discrepancy is a big problem.
That's not even 8 minutes either. I last night I played a carry and I had like 67 last hits at like 10 minutes 30 seconds, and I felt good about myself. But now all of that is shame.
I mean, he is just, this is the dream laning stage for an anti-major. He's just left to his own devices.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge threat. Considering how good he is against Alliance's heroes, it's pretty scary.
FN doesn't get the invisibility rune. Bulldog able to time walk in and grab it despite the Mana Elite coming out.
They could set up a Chrono. I mean, that's the best thing they can do right now, I think.
Yeah.
But they don't really have that much damage.
I mean, if they can go Chrono into Arrow Starstorm, they could probably find a kill.
I mean, that's not even that much, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, Wind Ranger is still kind of squishy. It looks like Maelstrom might be her first item. Gloves of Haste picked up. Oh, there's the Chrono. Connects on Mag. Arrow follows up, and they will have the kill for Slardar.
And a convenient stack.
Very nice. Very nice indeed. Can they get out, though? FNG, rather. Hits him with a Mana Elite. Channels up the Illuminate. No follow-up, though, from the cores. Iceberg will just go back to farming. So, good first Chronosphere. They do get a decent kill on the Slardar. A hero that is, well, already kind of crippled, so killing him is keeping him down, preventing that Blink Dagger from coming out. I mean, he's down with the supports right now. 1,400 net worth.
That was a really nice move there. Oh, big shackle on S4.
S4 will still live, though, just barely. About 15 HP as he does pounce backwards. Iceberg now glimpsed back. Silence EGM trying to bring him down, but he's got the Wind Run. Misses the power shot again, but could still chase him down. One more auto attack. Doesn't have the vision. Thunderstrike doing a lot of damage. But now Pablo, out of mana, get caught by the X-Torrent boat combo. Kunkka will secure the kill. Couple of close calls, but in the end, Vega just get the single pick off on the support.
Yeah, that was really close. I like the attempt by Alliance. I mean, if they would have killed Iceberg there, that would have been minimum a killing spree going to them. But they need to start getting more kills. They have great CS on 3 of their heroes, but the CS the anti-mage is getting really out of control.
Yeah.
89 last hits at 955. What the hell is this?
Hey, he's looking like he'll have Tread's Battle Fury at 12 minutes, maybe? Something like that.
Which is really fast since the Quelling Blade edition.
Yeah, that's insane.
I don't think I've ever seen this many last hits at 10 minutes before. It's actually incredible. Maybe I've seen it with like Sven's where they stack small camps and let him clear.
What is like,
but
so not including neutrals in the jungle, because that adds too many variables, but if you're just farming in the lane, what is perfect at 10 minutes if you don't miss a single last hit? That Mag might actually die here. Nope, Sioma's got him. Okay.
It's about 8 every minute minimum, plus a few catapults. So
okay,
it should be like 80 CS about, not including catapults. That would be perfect.
That's pretty damn good, considering he's at 96 at 10.5 minutes. S4 will get caught here. Shackle doesn't latch for long enough to get the kill. Loda still playing some ring around the rosy. Arrow almost hits the Keeper of the Light, but he just barely sidesteps it. Now I think Vega will start to retreat. Alliance rotating a lot of members of their team. X-Torrent combo again connects on Loda. Iceberg gets in a couple of auto attacks, and Vega are just so hard to lock down. Even with the mobile Weaver, they still have a lot of ways to just run away. Seoma prevents this Weaver from diving as deep as he would like. It's very impressive Kunkka play. Now, I was talking about the Tidebringer build, but he's playing this classic Max the X, and it's really working for him. Here we go. Yeah. Point and center. EGM caught from far away. Not much he could do about it, and Iceberg will just finish him off.
Yeah, I mean, while there's a lot of good things about Tidebringer, this is the perfect game to have maxed out X. You get an 8-second cooldown, it's got 1,000 range, and it buys you 4 seconds to use this on an opponent. And all of the heroes on Alliance basically are very evasive and hard to kill. Which is kind of interesting, because Kunkka was their first pick, I believe. It was like Kunkka into Coddle, and every single pick that Alliance has gone for so far has just happened to be evasive heroes, like Weaver, like Void, like Earth Spirit. Even Potom, same case. Like, it's kind of crazy in some ways that Alliance happened to pick all these heroes into them, but they probably grabbed it for other reasons.
Chronosphere onto FN. Arrow does follow up and connect with the boat. Hits Admiral Bulldog. Also gives FN the rum. They're in great shape. FN's not even worse for wear. He just turns, right-clicks, Mana Void. It's an easy kill. The Chronosphere does next to nothing, and now Alliance have no choice but to retreat.
Not good.
That right there was pretty damning, just showing how little they were able to do. I mean, FN wasn't even close to dying.
Did they have an arrow follow-up, at least?
Yeah, they hit him with the arrow, too.
Yeah, that's not a good sign, then. All the heroes are just so under level, too.
Berg mid. Oh, he gets off the Wind Run! He makes it out of the Kinetic Storm, or Kinetic Field Static Storm combo. He will get caught by the Earth Spirit. That TP gets interrupted, and they do get the kill. So it works out okay for Alliance, but Kind of a close call. He almost
Yeah,
made it
no
out.
kidding. It's really close. They really needed that kill too. That puts EGM at 5.5 right now. Before this, he was sitting at about 4.5, so a full level given to him from that kill. If they missed that kill, for example, and EGM is still this far from 6, it just changes the whole game. But picking up that kill now they can get back into this game. But if they would have missed that, it could have just been the end of the game, honestly. If they just stopped getting kills and Vega started really snowballing.
And right now for Vega, their weak point is this Slardar. He is starting to recover, level 8, but still only about 800 gold past the Tranquil Boots. Still very far away from a Blink Dagger or an Armlet or anything else like that. Loda will rotate up, and Mag now might be in a little bit of trouble. Does not have enough mana for a TP now. Does have a few infused raindrops, so that'll help buy him some time, but there's no tier 1 tower. He's just going to try to slither his way back to safety. Weaver chasing him down. He's got the bug taking away his armor, but they just can't commit for it. A lot of these Radiant heroes missing off the map, so Alliance understandably hesitant about diving that deep.
It would have been really hard to kill him anyways, even if they hit the rolling boulder. It's only 1.4 seconds of slow against a sprinted target, so low chance of that.
Iceberg just finishing off this tier 1 tower mid. Easy peasy for the Wind Ranger. Wind Run makes that a pretty safe trade.
Yeah, and he is going for Maelstrom this game, so should give him really good early and mid-game damage output.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a good item choice.
It's great on Wind Ranger because of the synergy with the ult, but one of those items that if you can get this early, I mean, the Chain Lightning does a static amount, or a fixed amount of magical damage. So the earlier you get it, the more relatively strong it is against, like, you know, the supports, for example. 2 Chain Lightnings on that Earth Spirit is like a third of his HP.
Yeah, it's like 2 level 2 nukes or something like that. It's quite good.
So I like the choice here from Iceberg. A little bit different. I think he could have gone for the Blink Dagger if he wanted it, but focusing just more on right-click rather than guaranteed shackles. FN maybe in trouble here. Moonlight Shadows, they drop a ward down, but they saw the Moonlight Shadow get used. FNG will get Chrono, but the Blinding Light comes out beforehand. He can't get off the auto attacks. Arrow from downtown will connect, and they ultimately get the kill. But again, we're seeing the power of this Vega draft in terms of dealing with the Chrono. They get the counter kill straight away. Now Pablo stunned up. He's on the run, drops the Static Storm, but it makes no difference. Loda does not get shackled, or at least it doesn't latch, but he does get X, and they've got plenty of crowd control. 1 for 3. Vega take a great fight, losing only their Keeper of the Light.
Their disable is just so good still. The X marks the spot consistently guaranteeing kills. And really nice plays by Kunkka as well. The fact that he did a torrent and a boat on Faceless Void, all without the X, was pretty incredible.
Yeah. So it looks like we might have a lull in the action here. I do want to queue up this replay and just take a look. I feel like this fight was pretty telling of the state of this game right now. AM sees the gank coming. He blinks back straight away. FNG with a really good reaction time there on the Blinding Light. He died anyway, but it bought them that extra little bit of time for his team to get in position and destroy the Void right away. Again, Kunkka, so amazing in those scenarios. You know the Void wants to stay inside of his Chronosphere when it's up, so it just creates this target on his head for Kunkka to come in and try and save his allies and also turn it the other way. Of course, the X-Torrent coming in handy once more to bring down the Weaver, and all these team fights just seem so damning, Purge. I mean, what does Alliance do to start getting control of this game? The Anti-Mage still #1 on net worth, getting out of control. I mean, what's their golden ticket?
Kills is everything, basically. That's the solution to any game that you're losing, and they can do it with their heroes, but like we saw in the last fight, they had to commit a Chrono and an Arrow just to kill a Keeper of the Light. That's a bad sign.
Yeah.
They got to keep people survivable. A Glimmer Cape could be really nice on any support on Alliance. That way whoever does get X'd or initiated on can take a couple hundred less points of damage. And for example, if it's Faces Void and he time walks that, they can easily win a fight. But that's what it's going to come down to. They've got to have the first initiation go south for Vega, and they've got to get return kills.
Totally agreed. I think the other thing that'll be a potential game changer, at least right when it gets picked up, is that Aghanims on Mirana. Right now, S4 is pooling about 3,000 gold. You look at his inventory, and for 16 minutes in, Mirana should have more items than this. So as the Aghanims gets completed, he'll become a little bit more of a threat. FN almost in trouble mid, but Arrow doesn't connect, and he'll be able to just blink to safety after finishing off that creep.
If that actually hit, they could have killed him in all reality, using Earth Spirit and the Silence Follow-up. They might have been able to get that kill, but any reduction in his farm is going to be great. They need to kill him really before the Manta style as well, because that's when the Silence from Earth Spirit stops being useful. So I would love to see maybe like a smoke with Disruptor, try to group up with either Chronosphere or like Weaver or Earth Spirit. Even like Disruptor, Earth Spirit plus 1 any other hero is going to be a kill on Anti-Mage, and they need to start killing him because he's the big net worth.
Yeah. And he also has not died yet. 1, 0, and 3. He's pretty much been left to his own devices. They might rotate onto the Kunkka here. Loda in an aggressive position. He's picked up the Dragonlance, now Perseverance, so he is a little bit more survivable, that extra strength, and The extra attack range does help on Weaver. Lets him sit a little
treads as
further
well.
back.
I kind of like this. It's a little bit stronger for the early game. I thought most... Oh, they're in front of us.
On to Iceberg. They'll probably kill the Wind Ranger here. Static Storm Kinetic Field will lock him in place. Limited options. The boat may fly through in time. They actually can't kill Iceberg. He makes it out. They turn it on to Bulldog as well as the Earth Spirit. It's a 2-0 the other way. Iceberg's still alive after Loda tries to commit for it. Now Pablo locked down by the Slardar. Kinetic Field not going to save him, nor with the Moonlight Shadow. It's a 4-0. Marana, the only one that survives. Somehow, some way, Iceberg survived through all that.
Man, that was just absolutely terrible for Alliance. It looked like such a good initiation, but the Wind Ranger just completely survived through it. Maybe they needed to stack their disable less, like use the Static Storm a little bit later or something, but their damage output was just not there, and they really are lacking damage if you look at their heroes. Like, they can't do damage into a Chronosphere very well. It's basically just Marana and Earth Spirit Ultimate, but we just haven't got good value from Earth Spirit this game.
Yeah, and I mean, Marana's damage into the Chronosphere, I feel like, is very reliant on the Ags. Just regular Starstorm is pretty underwhelming. So that...
Yeah, it definitely is, because you can't necessarily guarantee the double stack of damage. And he's got Ags now. He's done a great job considering how his laning stage went, but...
I mean, they're in trouble, though. EGM caught again. Boat will connect. Another easy pick off for Vega. I mean, FN is just farming in enemy territory. He's right outside their Ancients. He finishes off their farm, and they get a kill. They go right back to mid and start chipping away at this Tier 2 tower. Iceberg pops the ultimate. He does have a Blink Dagger now, so more mobility. He can be the initiator or counter-initiator, depending on the situation.
Oh, he didn't take a lot of tower hits, at least. They could maybe take this fight now.
Yeah, possible. With the Earth Spirit dead, though, it seems like Alliance will just play this one defensive and sit back.
Okay, so things looking bad for Alliance here, but with the Ags finished, there's a chance.
If they take one perfect team fight, a great Chrono with all of the follow-up damage from the Disruptor, the Marana, the Weaver sitting outside the Chrono laying in right clicks, they could take a fight and regain some of this momentum, move into Roche, and then we've got more of an even game on our hands. But if the opposite comes true, where the next big team fight, Alliance gets wiped up again in another 4-0, 5-1 type scenario, this is really scary very quickly. Vega have an okay Roche lineup, especially with the Slardar. I mean, they are Radiant, but that's something we haven't seen be a factor yet this game that Alliance will have to be wary of.
Yeah, it's a very scary game for Alliance here. I like that they're sitting Bulldog behind the bottom at least. They scan behind the tower to see if anyone else is waiting there. But since nobody's there, it's pretty clear then that Vegas split pushing on the other side of the map.
Yeah, they'll trade
Loda
Tier 2 for Tier 2. Loda with great positioning. He stays very far back. Make sure he doesn't get caught out. Nothing he can do. Could maybe poke in and hope for a deny, but seeing that Blink Dagger on Iceberg will make him think twice. Alliance have a glyph. They will not use it. Tier 2s go down about the same time. Marana and Wind Ranger getting credit for both.
So, pretty good tower trading there for Alliance considering the circumstances.
Yeah.
There is still a really important Tier 1 tower mid for Vega that Alliance wants to kill. Once they do that, it should be very easy for them to control Roche, considering they still have their bot lane of racks, of towers, that is.
Yeah.
So, they gotta take a team fight before Vega finishes off the Tier 1 bottom, and ideally win the team fight and then take Aegis afterwards. That could completely open up the game for Alliance. Despite the AM being so far behind in net worth, the other heroes on Vega are very behind the Wind Ranger as well, so could go okay.
Pablo
dies like that.
just destroyed. The Basher not even out on Anti-Mage yet. That was a mag bash that helped set that up. The Basher for AM is still coming on the Courier.
I mean, the minus 15 armor alone just massively increases AM's damage. Mana Break does physical as well, so he hits very hard right now.
Okay, he sold back the Basher and bought an Eagle Song instead.
Okay, I like this choice a lot. Basher is great for lockdown, obviously, but they're fine on lockdown. They just need Anti-Mage to never die. If Anti-Mage never dies this game, the game's set. And there it is, Aegis falls because one hero dies, and now the game is out of Alliance's hands again. So now they have to play safe for the next 5 or 6 minutes, which is bad because they already had a hard time getting kills.
Yeah.
It's looking real bad for Alliance in this second game here. They had a lot of potential game 1, they played very well, but game 2 their laning stage just did not hit the mark.
Yeah, I mean, Butterfly kind of feels like a perfect item at this stage for Anti-Mage because who's getting the MKB? Marana's committed to magic damage survivability now. Loda, maybe in another half an hour of farming, he could get it after his next core items, but he's nowhere close. Same with Void. I mean, he's just working on Vlad's offering. So it makes the Anti-Mage super survivable. They still have a lot of magic damage, but, I mean, he's got Spell Shield. He's already pretty survivable against magic nukes.
Yeah, exactly. MKB is not a good solution against AM, just because the item keeps shifting into more and more magic damage to make it more special, but against an AM, you don't want that. You don't want to do magic damage.
Yeah, exactly. Smart stuff here. FN on the front lines, Moonlight Shadow. They could look for an opening to try to bring him down, but remember, he has the Aegis, so this is not the target you want to go for. Great sentry ward from FNG. They know what's going on. EGM goes rolling on in as the fight breaks out. Iceberg, the one that gets caught by the Chrono. He does not have the Admiral's Rum. He's taking heavy damage here, and they will actually kill him. It's a 1 for 2. They brought down the Coddle also. Vega might have actually lost this fight. AM now reinitiates. They destroy Loda. EGM with nowhere to go. Can't go blow for blow with FN. But now S4 blinks back into the fray. Buyback from Loda. He does time-lapse. That's how he got back in so quick, but it's now a dieback from Loda. FN able to bring him down. They still have no answer for this anti-mage. A rampage for FN, still with the Aegis in tow. It's a double rampage! Alliance in big, big trouble here, Purge.
It would look so good for them at the start. They jumped in and they blew up Coddle right away while dodging the starter initiation. That's basically perfect for them. And they killed Iceberg right at the start with the Disruptor ulti. But Anti-Mage just so far ahead and slowly but surely kills everybody on the enemy team. He didn't even have Butterfly that fight. He just did so much damage.
Crazy.
It was so close. Like, even S4 almost killed his Aegis at the end. It was very, very close, but it just wasn't enough there.
Oh, man.
It's honestly, I almost wonder if that was a net worth positive fight for them. If it wasn't for the buyback on Weaver, it could have been. It was very close, but with the buyback, that kills Weaver's ability to get his next item, and he's just sitting on like a Dragonlance Perseverance. That's not going to give you good damage. Those are like built-in transition items.
Yep.
And AM's got a whole battle or basher after this now.
Uh-oh, they pull in FN. He's going to keep split pushing. Just looking at this fight once more, though, great work to put the Sentry Ward down. That's part of what allowed Vega to take this fight, is they sort of knew that it was coming. It was a good Chronos here. We're going to have to go back in game because FN going in deep. He's silenced here. He goes hard onto S4. Is able to leap back to victory. Remember, FN does have the Aegis, so he can stay pretty aggressive. EGM on the back line, hit by the boat. He'll be brought down. Disruptor killed by FN. He's literally just soloing the team. He brings down the Faceless Void. It will cost him the Aegis. If Loda dies here, remember, he does not have a buyback. Now he gets X'd, stunned. He's down. 3 heroes in the grave with no buyback. Void, the only one dead that can get back in this game. They still have a tier 2 tower in the bottom lane, so it probably won't be Megas off this push, but this is crippling damage. They have no answer for this 12-0-6 anti-mage. Now the tier 3 tower falling rapidly. Alliance with no option but to let their tier 3 tower and barracks fall here in the mid lane.
Vega just owned the early game so hard. S4 does get 1 kill, but that's not going to stop everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's cute. That helps, but it's still just the Coddle. FN still feeling very strong against the towers up top, doing a little more split push action. They actually did not get the barracks mid. Alliance were able to hold this off, at least for now, but FN goes back in and will finish off the melee, the high-prize target. Rolling Polder forward, FN throws out some right clicks, and EGM gets destroyed once more. Glimpse back into a Chrono. FN gets hit by an arrow, but there's a Torrent. Boat flying through. He needs the rum. He's got it, and he will live. Manta style right onto Bulldog. He's out of mana, and he dies. AM still able to live through all of this. Loda dies again, and there's the GG called. Impressive stuff from Vega. Game 2, only 26 minutes, 30-10. Anti-Mage with a flawless match.
No kidding. He just got so far ahead, and then the Solar Crest follow-up was so interesting as well to stack more evasion on top of the 35% that AM already had. He was just impossible to kill when they were that far behind. So really nice way to just end the game. The Butterfly plus the Rum and the Solar Crest just changes everything. I mean, not that they weren't already winning, but what a flawless game from Vega. Like, they just stomped every lane. They won every mid-game team fight, and they deserve that big time. Yeah. Game 1 maybe a little bit less convincing, but great. Seeing Anti-Mage get that kind of space is really scary. I mean, both games had a very similar feel where Alliance really ignored the safe lane farmer. Morphling and Anti-Mage had a pretty easy time in both games, and at the end, they just didn't have the resources to shut him down. But
For sure, a brutal game for Alliance fans around the world. This will knock Alliance down to the lower bracket, not eliminated quite yet. Of course, we are still upper bracket opening rounds, but a tough start for them. That pushes Vega forward. Coming up later today in about 1.5 hours' time, 2:30 p.m. here on the Eastern Coast, we will have Kaipi versus Elements 1. Elements 1, the replacement for Team Liquid. They didn't have their roster together in time for this tournament to start, so we did have to get a replacement in there. But that's it for this series. I'm Sayori, he's Purge from Moonduck TV. Thank you for joining us here, folks. Enjoy your Pit Lord pubs for the rest of the day, or at least for the next hour and a half till the next game starts, as we will be coming right back. And of course, remember to visit Betway.com, the sponsor that makes this possible. They are a fully licensed, legal, real money betting service. They've got regular sports as well as esports, CSGO, Dota 2. Follow the link below the stream. That's how you get your €5 free bet, and you can take it from there, folks. It's only available in a handful of countries, so if your country is available, follow that link down below the Twitch stream and make it happen, Captain. We're on a break. We'll be back next series, again, about an hour and a half away.